All right. Welcome back to Eyes Open Media. All right, yesterday's video was interesting, and a lot of you guys enjoyed that video. Today's video, we're gonna talk about the bonds again, but we're gonna talk about some other things as well. Actually, we're gonna get into detail with the bonds. There is an article about the bonds, and they gave out, I guess, some numbers or something like that. But anyways, here we have and this is not CBI Alak, the governor. This is a different Alak. This is I think it's Mahdi Alak, I believe. Maybe I should have read the article before I even came. But I don't do that anymore. I just wing this thing. Says Alak confirms the government's move to economic reform to compensate for the decline in oil revenue. So they know that Donald Trump went to Saudi Arabia and Abadi went there as well, and a lot of deals were done for oil and to keep oil low. And I believe that's the fact because I did say that they were going over there to do an oil deal. I thought they were going to say release the oil prices and let it go up, but that didn't happen. They did oil deals to keep oil low. Okay. And probably one of the reasons why Donald Trump decided to keep oil low is because they're still fighting in Iraq and Syria. He probably thought it was going to be done by the time he visited Saudi Arabia, but it wasn't. So they decided to keep it low for at least another year. Maybe they'll revisit it next year and then raise oil prices up. But as long as they're fighting in Syria and Iraq, in these places, they're going to keep oil low. So the terrorist Daesh, ISIS don't are not able to sell the oil for revenues. Okay, so that looks like that's what's happening. Also, because of that, Donald Trump started talking about that America is going to start pumping energy as well. We're going to start drilling and pumping oil and pumping energy and electricity. So to the world and all types of stuff. We're going to be, and that was kind of scary for the Middle East as well to hear. I think Donald Trump was trying to scare places like Iraq to get their economic reforms going and get it launched to come out because oil is not going to recover in the near future here until new deals are created. So you got the government of Iraq noticing that, and they don't want to go through what they went through last year. So they're saying, look, we gotta launch these economic reforms to compensate on the decline in oil revenues. Okay. Um, And of course, Alak has not announced the launch of the economic reforms. Also, the World Bank or the IMF have not as well. This is a Security Council. Okay, this is a Secretary General of the Council of Ministers, Mahdi Al-Alak. On Thursday, the government's moved towards an economic reforms. So we have not had the official launch yet. We're not going to hear the official launch unless a body announces or a lock announces or the IMF or the World Bank announces. One of those people are going to announce it, or even maybe the United Nations could also announce it as well, since they're funding it. Okay, we got to hear from the big guys. They're the ones that are going to announce it, and I think it's going to come maybe the third week of August, third, fourth week of August. I think that's when it's going to come. Once the government, the federal council, Supreme Court, finally completes the amendments of the budget, and it looks like that's going to happen by the 21st or on the 21st. Okay, so and then that's when they're going to be able to then say the budget is finally amended completely, and now we can launch the economic. Because they're not going to do it with the budget being amended in the federal courts. Okay, so they said they're going to get it done by the 21st. So, and the 21st is when the employee or the boss of the companies in Iraq, that's when they send out their the paychecks for the employers. So it's kind of interesting that they picked that day of the 21st. So it's kind of interesting. Anyways, let's keep it moving here. And it says here that the government has been keen to involve the private sector in all economic committees. Okay, the government is moving towards economic reform to achieve comprehensive development and a gradual transition to the private sector. And this has been long awaited. We've been talking about activating the private sector. They have to launch the economic reforms and launch the private sector. And when you launch the economic reforms, that's really launching the private sector, releasing the rate, the international rate, because it's 1-to-1 in the country. So you're releasing the international rate, you're releasing all the borders, crossings to release the new rate. You're doing everything like that. You're just releasing everything back onto the international stage where they belong. Okay. Says here that private sector in Iraq having overcome the economic risk coinciding with the war on a daunting, he is going to proceed with the economic reforms he started. And we said maybe a day or two after we get the completion of the meetings with the IMF, we're going to hear statements that the economic reform is about to launch. And I think because of the federal budget not being amended today completely, and they pushed it to between now and the 21st, that didn't happen completely. So we didn't get the amendment today, and then tomorrow you probably would have heard Alak say we're now going to launch the economic reforms on this date or something like that. But no, we didn't get that, and it's for a reason because the federal budget, not the federal budget, but the Supreme Council understand that the meeting was pushed up to have it done. Okay. But that doesn't mean that they have to push the speed of the amendments up, because they still have the IMF meeting wasn't supposed to take place until late August for a reason, because it was supposed to take place around the third week of August, and then somewhere around that time frame where they're going to be issuing out their pay, one-to-one pay, according to Walking Stick and others in Iraq. The one-to-one pay was supposed to be on paper, and then not just on paper as it is right now, as a lot of us are seeing that they presented that the economic reforms are doing the international bonds. So they're already doing international things right now, because on paper they've removed the 3 zeros. Okay, so and we know that America didn't back them this time on international bonds because they don't have to if they're if they have the same rate, if they're 1-to-1, right? So we know on paper they're doing things like that. So the meeting wasn't supposed to be until the end of August, which was be around the same time frame they were going to release on the pays for the employees at 1-to-1 and activate the credit cards and the ATMs and stuff, I guess, at that same time frame. But they moved it up so they could make sure it was done, and then so the federal court knows that the meeting wasn't supposed to take place until basically about the 20th, 19th, 20th, 21st. So that's why they said, yeah, we don't have to pass it right now. Let's just wait. It's gonna be passed between now and the 21st. Because that's when the meeting of the IMF was supposed to be, around the 21st, right? So so the federal budget is like, there's nothing to rush about, because it's not like Alak is changing the rate now. The meetings weren't supposed to be until the late August anyway. So just want to make sure that was clear, because we're all saying, man, here comes the federal courts delaying stuff. Yeah, but they also know that they weren't supposed to pass any of this stuff anyways until the third week of August. That's when they're supposed to do it. So that's why they're saying, we'll just delay it and we'll just come back to it later, because that was the original time frame. I know you guys sped up with the IMF, but for us, we don't have to pass it until the 21st. So that's what they're doing. Okay. Huge demand for the Iraqi bonds. We talked about this yesterday, but let's just go ahead and see what is going on here. Marcus writes here, it says investors' demand was huge. The deal was 7 times oversubscribed. I wonder who all these people are that want these bonds, man. All right, so yesterday, Iraq opened the books for the first independent bond sale in a decade. Wow. So they're back to pre-war. I mean, actually, in a decade, so that'll be 2007. That'll be right in the war, actually. Says, let's see here. It probably should have been over a decade, maybe. I don't know. The $1 billion denominated bond maturing in March 2023 was expected yield 7%, but demand enabled that to be cut to 6.75%. Okay. I was like, I'm not reading that right. Okay, 6.75%. Okay, so in January, Iraq raised $1 billion of the 5-year bonds guaranteed by United States at a coupon of 2.149%. But this latest bond is international. They forgot to put that on there. And it's not guaranteed by the United States and depends on Iraq's own credit worthiness. It is rated B minus by both S&P and Fitch. Now, yesterday, I didn't even put I got to find that article because yesterday, I think it was Fitch, gave out the credit rating for Iraqi bonds. Okay, and I said I was going to do a video on it, but I didn't do the video on it. But we're hearing about it now, and so it is what it is. So B minus for B minus with a positive outlook for the international bonds. Okay, and so S&P and Fitch. Okay, also Iraq appointed Citi, Deutsche Bank, and J.P. Morgan as joint book runners for the issues. Okay, I mean these are the same guys that they did last time, and it didn't work out. So that doesn't, just because you have these guys doesn't guarantee anything, because just the last year it didn't work, right? So or was it last year or the year before? I think it was last year. This time last year, it did not work out. Okay, even with these guys involved, it didn't. Not all these guys were involved last year, and it didn't work out. So that tells us that something has changed, and that's because they probably, is most likely, they've dropped the 3-0 notes on paper, and that's the difference this time. And they're about to launch their economic reforms, and everybody wants to be a part of this now. Everybody wants to be down with Iraq now. Meanwhile, the yield, and they've also liberated Mosul, which was a key point for the reason why no one wanted the bonds as well. Meanwhile, the yield of the Iraqi 10-year bond 2028 has fallen to a 9.3% in November and 6.7%. Okay, and that's Bloomberg. Okay, cool. Let's go over here and let's see what you guys had to say. I did make a post. Actually, this is the video I did on the main channel earlier today. What is this? No, that's my portfolio. There it is. Okay, and it's $130 million released by to the CBI from the United Nations, and that's because of their oil program, of their food and medicine that was dealing with the article, chapter 7, excuse me. And so they finished that, they completed that, and now the money has been released to them. Okay, we still need to see them pay Kuwait. We have not seen them pay Kuwait that last debt. I want to see that before they launch they really launch, or maybe when they launch the economic reforms, we'll see that them make that payment with a revalued rate. Okay, we'll see. Not sure what the world that's all about. Let's continue here. Jeff says $130 million to the CBI must be a little taste of money that is about to be pouring in. And Eric says, and why did the United Nations wait till today to release the fund's assets in the millions of dollars, not billions, in August after the IMF meeting, instead of June 30th deadline? That's because they dropped the zeros, in my opinion, but it is up to you guys. And Eric asks the same question to everybody else. And light bulb, think about it. Light bulb. Look at this one. Eating popcorn and waiting, Hadia. Okay, Lucretia says, let's get it. Red Star. Was Red Star the one that gave me this article? Let me see here. I think he was. Let me see. Okay, Alak. Okay, so yeah, Red Star had the article right here. Okay, so Red Star did have it. So shout out to Red Star for the article. I was like, I got the article somewhere. I can't remember. Okay, so Red Star did have the article, and it's not a lot of keywords. It's a Mahdi Al-Alak or something like Mahdi Al-Alak. Okay, so we talked about that. The central bank plans announces a plan to increase the number of foreign banks. We talked about that on the video I did. The Association of Private Banks concludes a training course in herbal and undertakes to hold courses throughout Iraq. We said training. They have to teach the citizens about the lower notes and the coins and how they look, the differences of them and all that stuff. They also the ATM machines and all the things that they money laundering, anti-terrorism. They got to do the teachings, guys and girls, and this is what they're doing now, and they're going to do it all over Iraq and are also going to be putting, I guess, for areas that don't have the ATM machines, we're probably going to see, mobile stuff take it, so people will be able to use the mobile banking, okay, and maybe internet banking as well, for places that don't have the ATMs or things of that nature. They can still have the internet and mobile internet and satellite internet or something like that for banking. Eric says, unless I'm missing something, we have the standby agreement statement from the IMF, but we still waiting on the Article 4 official statement on the results. They had 2 meetings, not one. Okay, why? He says, And there's another meeting coming up in September. Okay, and so between now and September, we're hoping to see something before that next meeting. Hopefully, the next meeting is a meeting of congratulations, you're back on the international stage. We don't know. Because after that meeting, there could be another meeting, and there could be another meeting. Like they're taking them through this economic reform process, and they're taking them step by step, holding their hands, maybe even choking them at times because they're taking forever. And yeah. Iraq sells bonds. Yeah, we know about that. The U.S. project to control the Iraqi-Syrian border has been aborted. The military spokesperson for the Iraqi Hezbollah battalion said on Thursday, pointing out that no U.S. presence in Iraq was allowed under any name. Okay, nah, I don't know what's up with that. I don't know about. There's thousands of troops in Iraq. So I don't know what they're talking about. Anyways, Eric says here, President Trump says he will make a very big announcement tonight. Okay, not sure what that is. Eric John rocks. Seems like it has something to do with the healthcare reform. Okay. Yeah, he's not gonna make an announcement of an RV, guys and girls. That's not his business. That's not his country. That'd be kind of weird. That would be the weirdest thing if Trump says, "I got a huge announcement. Iraq revalues our currency." Like everybody be like, "What? Get off stage, bro." You know what I mean? Like that's not your country. So he's not gonna do anything like that. He might do it. It might be the healthcare reform. It might be something else that deals with America because that's his country. He's the president of America, not Iraq. Huge demand for Iraqi government bonds. Yes, we talked about that. Okay. I think that is it. Where was there? I want to look at the. I want to look at the Finch. The Finch stuff. If I can get it, let me see if it's on this one. Let's see. I thought I saw something about the CBI governor stabilizes IQB rate will file space for speculation. Okay. That looks like my old video, or one of my other videos I did. It looks like. Okay, so here it is. Mohammed had this. So we have the Finch rating. So Finch rates Iraq's upcoming USD bonds B minus. Okay, and positive outlook B minus, and yeah, so people ran to these bonds here. So I just wanted to make sure that was clear. Finch right here did rate the bonds, and it looks like S&P 500 rated the bonds, and I did say I was going to make a video, and here is so we're talking about it on this video. So yeah. Look for the CBI. Don't believe the guru crap. It will happen when it happens. And I told KC, I said, I wish it was that easy for people, but it's not, LOL. And then Roger comes right back behind with stuff with, now Walking Stick isn't the guru. He's just a guy. He's a guy that actually lives in Iraq, so it's a little bit different. But he then comes with other people's information, right? So even when she says, just look at the CBI, don't believe in guru stuff, and then Roger comes with walking sticks though. Even though walking sticks not a guru, but still, he's a Marine. Either I'm not sure if he's an ex-Marine or current Marine, but he runs a business with other people in Iraq. He's in Iraq, and so yeah. But anyways, it's funny. So Roger says walking stick. Who was an American businessman? You don't have to tell, dude. Everybody knows walking stick. Working in Iraq says everything is now completed with the IMF. The citizens are in Iraq are now being educated about the monetary reforms on TV and also in their mosque. Yes, the mosque is important because a lot of these people don't know how to read. Many Iraqis don't know how to read and write and understand. So they have to go to the mosque to get the information that way through and things of that nature. The better understanding and teaching that way. And others have said the same thing. We've had other people on here saying that their friends said that they heard things in the mosque that are different than what's going on television and stuff like that. He says he thinks they will soon load the new bills into the ATMs. He thinks this is very close now. Okay, so he's saying that the bills are not in the lower notes are not in the ATMs yet, and I guess the gold and others are not in the ATMs yet, or whatever the case may be, or not. Well, we know that the ATMs are not activated yet. So if they don't have the lower notes in them, then they don't have the lower notes in them. You know what I mean? But if they do, they do. I don't care. As long as we know that those ATMs that are going to be taking only lower notes are about to be activated with the MasterCard. Walking Stick says Iraq is now on the verge of going international any day now. Well, I mean, the articles say it themselves, so we don't really need Walking Stick for that. We can clearly see by the international bonds that they just sold. You know what I mean? They just sold international bonds. My goodness, and they're successful. That tells us internationalism is coming. We're about to launch the economic reforms, probably in the third week of August. I mean, so right after the federal government or the federal Supreme Court Council, amends the federal budget, we're going to launch the economic reforms. That's basically what's going to happen. That's why we're not going to see the economic reforms launch until that federal budget is amended completely, in my opinion. Okay, so that's it, man. We're 22 minutes into this. Let's close it up here, and I think that's it. I don't got nothing else to say, so let me go. Eyes open, everybody. Peace out. God bless. Hit the share button, hit the like button, and subscribe to the channel. We're rocking and rolling on the Eyes Open channel, and we're also rocking and rolling on the Currency 365 channel. Okay, so that's it. Peace out. Bye.